What's going on, lineage? What's going on? This is your brother Chief Kalinago. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy sunrest to each and every one of you. Hope your 24 is going, superbly, okay? My 24 is going smooth, beautiful. I'm traveling tomorrow, so I'm just chilling right now, just relaxing and just dropping some videos, right? Let me make sure I have audio on Facebook as usual. Give me 1 second, please. Please, please, please. All right, cool. We got audio on Facebook. All right. Always remember, videos are strictly for knowledge purposes, right? We're not even going to talk about educational purposes right now because, the information that I bring is just too spiritual, it's just too spiritual to be called educational information. So it's more so knowledge, right? And I will forever remind you that knowledge is power. But let me tell you something that's a little more powerful than knowledge. You see, it's the application of the knowledge. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Knowledge is power, but the application of the knowledge is more powerful. Or chief, what do you mean? Greetings, Empress. Why go on? All right, so check this out. It doesn't matter what you know. If you don't know how to take the information that you know and make it applicable to your life, then it's pointless. And I've given you many analogies, but I'm going to give you another one, of course, which I've given to you in the past, right? You know how to swim, okay? And you are a great swimmer. In fact, you are an excellent swimmer in your mind, right? You have seen movies, you have been to the beach and you see lifeguards, and you've been to the pool, but you never jumped in the water though. You just see people swimming, so you have this knowledge of swimming. Good evening, sister Lavinia. So you have the knowledge of swimming within your mind. However, you have never actually jumped in the water and swam. So yes, you know how to swim, all right, but have you jumped in the water and actually did the action? You haven't done that. You see, so you don't truly possess the power of swimming. You have the knowledge of swimming, but you haven't applied. It's not applicable. You feel me? So therefore, once you jump in the water and you start applying the knowledge that you know of swimming, then holds the power. Now you are able to save your life just in case you jump in some water or somebody throw you in some water. And that's called the real power. That happened to me when I was a little boy. Okay, I think I might have been at the age of about 7 or 8, maybe even younger. Okay, back in the islands, we have what we call the harbor, or we call it jetty. All right, jetty. All right, that is it is spelled Jetty, and that's where the ships come in, and they have the port, and we would dive in the waters, right? And I've always, like I said, I must have been 7 or 8, but I could have been younger as well. All right. And I'm always bragging to my cousins and my friends, yo, I could swim. I'm a fish, whatever the case is, right? Now, mind you, I knew how to swim in my head because I've been in the water. I just never passed anywhere that passed my chest. You see what I'm saying? If the water would come to my neck, then I would go back to the shore. So I never really swam, but I had the knowledge. So one day, one afternoon, we were on the jetty or the port, and one of my friends pushed me in the water. Okay. Now, and I'm talking about sea water, fresh salt sea water. Okay. So, man, I got so scared. I took a first gulp of sea water. All right. And there's a saying, anytime you take 3 gulps of sea water, when you are actually going down, then you will drown. So I'm like literally battling, like using my arms trying to get back to the surface of the water. I couldn't do it because of the fear that I had. So I swallowed another gulp of water. Man, I told myself, listen, I'm not gonna die. All of a sudden, I started to apply the knowledge of swimming that I thought I had in my mind. And that's how I was able to swim to shore. Of course, when I got back to shore, I whoop a couple of asses. But the point is, from that day, I became a shark. I became a fish. And even up to this day, I could swim like a fish. You feel me? So I'm saying all this to say, my brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter what we know. The question is, do we know how to apply it? How can we apply what we know to make our life easier than what it is without applying the knowledge? You feel me? Yes, we know that we are the American Aborigines, as in Australian Aborigines. Okay. America had Aborigines and we are them. They are us. Okay. And these Aborigines are our ancestors. They were called American Indians. Okay. For whatever reason, people have different perspectives on why we were called Indians, such as, well, when they came, they saw the people that lived in God, live in nature, and they called them Indios, indicating that they were the indigo people. I mean, that's plausible, right? I wasn't there, so we heard that. We also heard that he thought, and he, as in Columbus, thought he was going to India. Okay, hence he called the entire region moving west. He called it the Indies. Okay, hence we have the word West Indies. Now, regardless of whatever name that we choose or what narrative that we decide to go with, it's all irrelevant. The bottom line is the people that were here were actually American Aborigines. All right, American Aborigines were called American Indians for whatever reason. Okay, now I'm gonna make a presumption. Okay, and yes, it may be presumptuous of me, but I think I'm entitled that once in a while. I think that one of the reasons, it may not be the only reason we were called Indians, is because of the West Indian Company. All right, so I think that was the first attempt to colonize, okay, and make us wards of these colonial kings and queens. Hence, everything had to be done through a company, as in the Virginia Company, as in the West India Company. I think they literally, because remember, greetings, Sister Corinne. Remember, right? Everything was about commerce. Slavery was about commerce, okay? And you cannot just go into a country and just start doing what you know. It had to be established that some contact had to be made, okay? And then through commercial companies, the people were able to become workers or servants of that company. But I'm going to say workers, all right? So I think that's also one of the reasons we were called the West Indians, okay? The Indies, the people from the West, all right? And you also had the East Indian Company, which was the people of East India, all right? But that's besides the point. The bottom line is we know who we are, okay? And my purpose, like I said, everybody have a purpose, all right? And I have my purpose in a nutshell is to restore our birthright. That's why I was sent. Of course, I teach information, which is all well and good, but I take it a step further and go to the foundation of restoring. Okay. So I was given certain skills to do certain things, and that's why I'm making it applicable to my people. All right. So, like I've always said, even if American Indian is a misnomer, we should not and cannot give up the identity of being called American Indians, because that is the only thing that literally ties us to everything that happened to our ancestors from 1492 and beyond. Okay. Yes, we are the American Aborigines, but American Aborigines, it's not that term is not coined in law. That term is not coined in the Constitution. That term is not coined in the declarations. That term is not literally coined in the Northwest Ordinance. What is American Indian? That is our ticket back home to restoration. Now, once we have restored, then as a collective, we can decide, hey, you know what? This is what we want to go with. You feel me? So I'm just explaining that and making sure everybody gets at least that much. Okay? Now, I said this video is a two-part video. Of course, I'm just kind of like, giving you a, a precursor of, what I'm talking about in this video. Okay. But the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of what's happening right now. Why is there such a huge influx of Africans and what we call Spaniards being sent and being naturalized in the United States? Okay. Why is that happening? Why is there such an influx of Africans, particularly um, very, very dark skinned, heavy melanated, what you may be tempted to call black, but they're not black, to call black. But let me show you exactly what I've seen these individuals look like. Let me give you an example. And by no means, once again, please do not misconstrue what I'm saying. All right? Because I have nothing against anybody. And that's just honest. That's just the honest truth. However, there is a plot that's being brewed for whatever reason is going to manifest. Okay? But let me just show y'all something real quick and show you the level of complexion in terms of these Africans. And it doesn't matter the complexion, but it's just kind of a little strange to me. Let me show it to you. Let me show y'all real quick. Okay? Look at this image right here, which I've shown you before. This is the Pope Francis bowing to, now they say that he's bowing for peace. Okay, from the Sudan, what they call nobility. But you don't have to bow and kiss somebody's feet to tell them that you want peace in the world. No, you see, this is symbolic. Okay, this is literally telling you who the actual nobilities are and who are actually behind the scenes, because the Vatican literally runs everything. All right. That's where the most holy man on the planet, supposedly, that's his city, the Vatican. It's a city within itself. And that's the holy city based on, again, their own definition. Right? Now, if the Pope is subjected, kissing the feet of these so-called black men, what is that telling you? Like I tell people, you have to know the truth, man. Only the truth will set you free. So what am I saying? I'm saying that look at the complexion of these men. All right. Is it a coincidence that thousands and thousands and thousands of Africans with that complexion are being naturalized in the United States every single day? Is it a coincidence that all these South American natives are being naturalized in the United States? But ironically, there are no copper-colored indigenous original people from South Africa that are being sent here. Why is that? Why is that? You see, history has a tendency to repeat itself when you don't know. You feel me? And there is a long history of wars between Africans and the American Aborigines. Okay? And the insurgence of all these Africans coming here. It's no coincidence, man. It is no coincidence. Something is happening. All right? Now, I have a few opinions about that. And like I told you before, when I'm giving you opinions, I'm going to give you opinions. I'm thinking that we, the American Aborigines, we are stepping up in consciousness and we know who we are. So therefore, our birthright will be replaced. Not should be, but it will be, because I know that for a fact. All right. So therefore, the corporation, they need people to work for them, because at some point we are not going to do it. Okay. And that's why I do what I do, to get us away from that workmanship when it pertains to the United States. We're not supposed to be working for any immigrants. You feel me? To enrich them. We have done that enough. Okay? It was a purpose that had to be served. We have done that. And we have done our servitude. No, it's time for us to be the landlords once more, the gods of the land. So therefore, we are not going to be doing that. We are going to do that for ourselves and build and work amongst ourselves and for ourselves. So I'm thinking, because they know this, because remember, all these things are actually written, they are prophesied. It is written in the cosmos. You feel me? And they know the oral history of our people. And trust me, they have it hidden. All right? So I'm thinking that may be a reason, because the American Aborigines, we are not going to work and slave for you any longer. Because trust me, my brothers and sisters, right? Once you see that energy literally gets hold and it start going viral, like you see how all the stupid videos go viral, you see how all the nonsense about Black Lives Matter go viral, just let us identifying and calling ourselves as who we are, as the American Aborigines. And people know this to be true because it is true. Just wait till it go viral. Guess what? These foreigners, these immigrants, these colonizers, they will not be able to do anything about it. So what's going to happen? They're going to call us to the table. Hey, we would like to have a meeting. Let's talk. How can we resolve this? Because the truth of the matter is, I see people doing videos. Oh, well, they need to leave our land. Stop the nonsense. Ain't nobody living here. Okay, because y'all just don't know the true story of the Americas. So you start talking all the nonsense. Okay? And I say nonsense because it's nonsense. They're not going anywhere. Why? Because America is the mother. Everybody's coming back home. Whether y'all believe it or not, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm not here to give you belief systems. I'm here to give you knowledge. So everybody's coming back home to their mothers and fathers. Okay? But with that being said, mama and papa needs to be acknowledged as mama and papa, and that's going to happen again. You feel me? So once we step back up and we have reclaimed our birthright, then the children that came here, whether they came from us or whether they came from the Asiatic blacks, so-called blacks, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is America is the mother. All right? They are going to need, again, workers for their corporation. Now, will the corporation, would it still be around? Who knows? It might be a little bit different. There might be a little bit of some adjustments, some amendments, whatever the case is. But the bottom line is the original people of the land, we are going to step up. And guess what's going to happen? We are the ones that's going to be at the table making those decisions, not them. Their time is up. Okay? We are going to be at the table to say, well, hey, listen, this is what it is. This is what it is. You could make suggestions and we will consider that. We are going to take back our borders and we are going to decide who comes and who goes. You feel me? Because this is ours. It's our birthright. We make that decision. Nobody else. You feel me? So that could be one of the reasons why they have all these immigrants coming in. Okay, of course, they had an influx of pale-skinned Europeans coming in. I mean, I'm thousands and thousands and thousands of them. All right. So that's one, again, hypothesis. Another one is they are recruiting people that look like us in a sense, but with a darker hue. All right, to fight us. So those are two plausible situations. And like I said, that is just of my opinion. It's not a fact. It's not something that I know. All right, it's just something I'm putting out there. Either way, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference to me, because we will not be defeated. I know that for sure. All right, rest assured that we will not be defeated. So I wanted to know, because, and then out here in New York, because you have to pay attention. Out here in New York, I'm starting to see all this dark skin, heavy melanated Africans, which I've never seen before. I mean, of course, I see Africans all the time. They drive dollar cabs, and yes, but they're not the real dark ones that you could be confused and call them black. But all of a sudden, they're all over the place. They're all over the place. And there are thousands of them every day that's being naturalized. So I know something is happening. You feel me? And what's even more alarming is the fact that out here in New York, they're letting them know, listen, we will naturalize you. Now that is a fact. Okay, I'm not assuming that. They will naturalize them, but they cannot stay within the cities. They have to move upstate. And they're even giving them in the likes of $1,500 to $3,000 every single month for transportation and for housing, because housing is also free. So how is that? Once again, all these people that are coming from across the seas, coming from Africa, and I ain't got nothing against Africans. I got to put that out there. I'm not anti-Africans, because these people are looking for better opportunities to take care of their families, man. Listen, take it wherever you can. All right. But this is beyond that. I'm looking at this from a whole different perspective. All right. And the funny thing is, these men that come here, the majority of them, over 97% of them are men and not women. That again is also alarming. And if these men are so dark in color that you would again be confused to call them black, why is their status white? My brothers and sisters, pay attention to what I'm saying. Their status is white and not black. And I've already shown you the SF-181 form. Okay? White. So people that are from the original people of North Africa and different other places that they mentioned. Okay? But I'm going to go over a few words, all right, that you have to, well, you don't have to, but I would like for you to get familiar with. And we're going to go through a few of them, okay? Because something is happening. Because the algorithms of us talking about we are the original people, and they know, because you see, all this is supposed to happen at this time. The mass reawakening of the American Aborigines, okay? That's already a prophecy. And don't get it confused. For all those of you who are still confused as to whether we are Israelites or not, once again, we are not Hebrew Israelites and we are not Moors. Let us put all that to rest. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the Bible dictionary, and we are going to look at where that word Hebrew comes from. Like I told y'all before, the word Hebrew means the one who crossed over or went over. Okay? Let us look at that word. It came from Eber. Okay? Let us go ahead and go into the Bible dictionary. Because these things are very important, because we have American Aborigines confused, calling themselves the tribe of God, G-A-G-A-D, the tribe of this, the tribe of that. Stop all that nonsense. We didn't use those things. We didn't know about these people Bible before the 1300s. And that's facts. So, with that being said, let's look at Hebrew belonging to Eber. That's where the word supposedly came from. So it says, a descendant of Abraham, Genesis 14:13, Jeremiah 34:9. The language of the Hebrew people, John 19:20, concerning the derivation of this name, follows, tells us that some has ascribed the origin of the word Eber, Genesis 10:21. Eber is used as a national name in Numbers. Okay? National. You see that word national? It has nation in there. So Eber is a nation of people mentioned in Numbers 24:24. Others trace the name to the Hebrew Abba, says follows, meaning to pass over. Okay? To pass over. In other words, go from one land to the next. So that a Hebrew would mean the man from the region beyond. In other words, you came from another region. The Hebrew is an action word that denotes one who passed over or one from beyond. And suppose to have been applied to Abraham as having crossed the Euphrates to the westward. This last revision is generally admitted. In other words, there's a general consensus that they agree with that. It seems to imply nothing more than that Abraham was an immigrant in the land of Canaan, not a native. So the further back you go, a native meant more than just to be born. In biblical days, a native was an aboriginal. However, in today's day and age, as per the United States, a native just means to be born. So we have to be mindful with these words. So when you see Native Americans, yes, they are native to the Americas, but they are not original native to the Americas. All right? Now, for those of you who don't know, the new Canaan is Canada. The new Canaan is Canada. So all the immigrants who came here, the so-called Hebrews who came here, as Canada being the promised land, they are not original natives. They are immigrants because they are descendants of Abraham. So my dear brothers and sisters who call yourself Israelites and Hebrews, I'm not going to apologize, but I'm going to say, you know what? You are not aboriginals or aboriginals of this land. Okay? You are not. Now, with me saying that, I'm not saying that we all cannot unite as original indigenous people and strive. I'm not saying that. However, we are going to be who we are, and you could be who you are. Don't try to confuse us and tell us this is who we are, because we are not. We are not. Once again, the seed of Jacob is a demonic seed. Jacob is the devil, the supplanter, the thief. Everything was done with fraud and deception. And that's who your Lord God chose to bless. Be less. Be lack. Okay? Because that's his chosen seed, is the seed of the devil. You see, y'all got it twisted the other way around. Because you don't read with understanding. It's right in the damn book. And any one of you want to sit down with me, we could go and talk about it. Like I said on live TV. I'm ready for that. Because I'm ready to give that work. All right? But I don't do debates, but I will have a healthy argument. All right? Cool. So keep that in mind. Let me see if I can find something else for y'all here. Hopefully I could find it. Give me 1 second. I think here it is. Okay. Go. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me just run into that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm still in the Bible dictionary. Okay. Now let me just show y'all something real quick. And like I tell people, when I do videos, this is by no means to create separation as in division in terms of war and animosity. No, this is just to create division as identity. Okay. So our people know who they are. But we could work with anybody else that's willing to work with us in peace and love and righteousness. I'm cool with that. All right. So let me show y'all something real quick. Go back here and share the screen. Pay attention now. This is so I already touched the whole Israelite thing. I'm breaking that down in detail in the book. So you could get the book. The link is in the description. Now we're going to go to Moab, the Moors. I'm going to deal with you right now. My people are not Moors. Let us read. Because the Moors say that they are descendants of Moab or the Moabite. I've heard that from Tariq Bey, one of the great scholars of the Moors. And this man is a very intelligent, knowledgeable man. Okay? He shares a lot of great information. The only time I defer from anything that they say is when they start calling my birthright Mexum and Morocco and all that. I don't, nah, that's where we separate in terms of the nonsense. I don't subscribe to that. Okay. So let's look at Moab, because Moab, okay, means seed of the father. That's why they have a patriarchal system. All right. Our system was matrilineal. Everything was passed down through the mother. It just meant things were passed down through the mother and not the father. Okay. Let us read. Water of the water flowing from the father. What of the father? Of his father. Son of Lot, by his eldest daughter. From him the Moabites were descendants. Genesis 19:37. You feel me? So once again, for all the Moors that say that you are descendants, that's where you originated from, the Moabite, once again, I'm proving to you that ain't got nothing to do with the Americas, because it still goes back and ties back to one of the branches of Abraham. All right? So this ain't got nothing to do with us. You and the Hebrew Israelites are all related by blood. And that's why you were the ones who came here in 1492 to rape and pillage my people as a land that was promised to you, because you lost your inheritance over the seas by your children. Okay? Your children that came from these, the Canaanites. Your pale wives and concubines, their children. Your mulatto children, they fought you. And they asked you to leave. Okay? So I just wanted to make that clear. This is not us. Ain't got nothing to do with us. So right now I'm going to go into a few words that you may need to get familiar with. All right? Let us go to Noah's 1828 dictionary. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, here we are. A few words. The first one we're going to go is colony. Boom. Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary, colony. Check this out. A colony is a company or a body of people transplanted from their mother country to a remote province or country to cultivate and inhabit it, and remaining subject to the jurisdiction of the parent state, as the British colonies in America or the Indies. Remember, like I told y'all before, there's always a madness to everything that I talk about, because everything is coherent. The Spanish colonies in South America, when such settlements cease to be subject to the parent state, they are no longer denominated colonies. Okay, why is all this important? Because companies had to be set up in order to create a colony. Everything that happened in 1492 and beyond in terms of setting up companies, that was already being done in Europe. That's how they fought each other. That whole commercial world, the world of illusion, it belongs to them. It came from their gods. In fact, their God, their Lord God. Okay? Destruction, separation, division, war, incest, all of that is their culture. Sleeping with children that's 11 years old, girls that's 11. That is the culture. That is their culture. You feel me? So these companies had to be set up because slavery, indentured servantry was a business. So therefore, colonies were set up. The first settlers of New England were the best of the Englishmen, well-educated, devout Christians, and zealous lovers of liberty. There was never a colony formed of better materials. And like I told y'all before, the Pilgrims, the Quakers, the Pilgrims, the Quakers, and the Puritans, they were all people of color. It was only later the pale-skinned pilgrims came. You feel me? All right, so pay attention to the word colony. Let us go to the next one, a deed. Deed. And we're going to go all the way down to number 4, a deed. What does it say? A writing containing some contract or agreement and the evidence of its execution, particularly an instrument on paper or parchment, conveying real estate to a purchaser or a donee. A donee is someone who receives something. This instrument must be executed and the execution attested in the manner prescribed by law. Indeed, in fact, in reality. Now, when you see that word reality, remember there was ality before reality. You see, like I told y'all before, there is always a madness behind what I teach. You dig? So we already had a system of ality because we were the original people here on the land. We had a system of ality, and these people came and created a system of reality. So now deeds were introduced, contracts conveying land or certain, what we call property, conveying instruments on paper. We were destroyed on paper, my brothers and sisters. That's why the pen, they say the pen is mightier than the sword, because they could not beat us physically. That American Indian blood is nothing to play with. Nothing to play with. So they had to beat us on paper. Not that we were stupid or dumb. No, we were just not used to that type of trickery on paper. Okay? Next word, estate. Estate. Let us go to number 4. In law, the interest or quantity of interest a man has in his lands, tenements, or other effects, estates are real or personal. Okay? Real estate, as in real estate. Now you see, it didn't say reality estate, it says real estate. But if you look at the word in real, it also has real or real. El means original son, like a God, a Lord. Estate consists in lands or freeholds which descend to heirs. Personal estate consists in chattels or movables which go to executors and administrators. There are also estates life for years at will, etc. Fortune, possessions, property in general. He is a man of great estate. He left his estate unencumbered. Why is estate important? Because the estate that we had, all our estate was put in trust of the United States. As you could see in the word estate, there is state, which is your state of mind from a spiritual perspective. And our state of mind has been governed. Hence, they created governmental agencies to govern the state of your mind. So once again, when you want to become a sovereign, you have to do it spiritually first. Paperwork doesn't mean anything unless you free yourself spiritually. You have to let go of their gods, their false doctrines. It is the only way to gain your sovereignty. Why? Because the gods of our ancestors were sovereign and are sovereign gods. The God of Genesis chapter 1 is not a sovereign God because he is a lunar God. The moon depends on the sun for light. Our gods were solar gods, the sovereign gods, independent or interdependent rather. Meaning that, the 7 rays coming together to create that universal light. That's what interdependency means. Okay? dependable on each other for a common cause. Nothing is independent. So like I said, when I hear people talking about, oh, well, I'm independent, especially women, I already know your state of mind. You're one of the lost ones. Nobody's independent. Nature wasn't built that way. We were built to be interdependent, to have a symbiotic relationship with everything in nature. Okay? So first, we have to gain back the estate of our mind, the state of our mind. We have to restore that first. And once your mind is restored, as you could see and hear, the prefix in the word restored, R-E, meaning that it was already stored, but it was taken away. It was stolen, right? It was tricked. So therefore, it has to be restored. And once your state of mind is restored, that is your mental estate. And guess what's going to follow? The physical estate. You see, we want to do things in the physical before we do it in the spiritual. That is doing things backwards. We're not going to get anywhere. I don't care, like I told you before, it doesn't matter how much paperwork you peddle or push or you send. It doesn't make a difference. Don't waste your money with anybody if you haven't done that individually. Work on yourself. Because, of course, people are going to charge you for their services, and there's nothing wrong with that. You want their service, you pay for it, period. Nothing is free. You think it's free? Freedom. You're dumb. All right? It becomes free when you pay attention. Even attention you got to pay for. And then we take it back to Genesis chapter 1, when we live in abundance. You feel me? But the first things first, you have to become free mentally. Regain your sovereignty mentally. You see, once you're free mentally, and you have regained your sovereignty mentally, and you have restored your estate mentally, then trust me, nothing in the physical could touch you. You have no fear. That's how you get rid of the fear. Okay? So we just went over estate. Let's look at the word clan. 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 A race. So you see, a clan is a race. They say a family, but we know what family is, but we know what they're saying. However, a family is a household of slaves, right? So we are going to say a race, a lineage, a household of relatives, put it that way. A tribe, hence an association of persons under a chieftain or a chieftainess. 2, in contempt, a sect, a society, a body of persons closely united by some common interest or pursuit. Okay? So a clan is a race of people. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be blood related, but you could be of the clan. You feel me? Just words you should familiarize yourself with on this journey right here. Let's look at the next, community. Even if we know what community means, let's look at community. Community. Properly common possession or enjoyment as a community of goods. It is confirmation of the original community of all things, a society of people having common rights and privileges or common interests, civil, political, or ecclesiastical, which deals with the spiritual aspect of things, or living under the same laws and regulations. You see, we don't have a community. We have neighborhoods. The Jewish, and I stress on the suffix ish, the Jewish people, they have communities. Because let's look at this again, a society of people. You see, people having common rights and privileges. In other words, they are equally yoked. They are on one accord, or common interests. As you could see, the word interest deals with within, to rest, terrestrial interests, civil, political, or ecclesiastical, which deals again with the esoterics. We know that we are the gods. That's esoterical. So now we are uniting, creating a community of gods who know they are gods. And not just gods, but the righteous gods, made in the likeness and image of those in Genesis chapter 1. Even if it's us, we just manifested ourselves in the flesh. You feel me? Or living under the same laws and regulations. This word may signify of a commonwealth, as you could see in the word commonwealth. When we look at we look at the compound word common, means to have things, alike in thinking, and wealth. So you see, when we have a community, we are able to build wealth because we have things in common. Hence, you have commonwealth. You see how you build wealth? Group economics. You need a community for there to be a commonwealth or a state. But remember, before you come into the United States or the United Union, we are nation as united, meaning that many bodies of states or state of mind, you have to fix your state of mind first. A body politic. Now we step up as a community and step up to these foreigners and say, hey, we are here to restore. This is what it's going to be. We're not asking you. Or a particular society or order of men and women. Of course, they're always leaving women out. But again, men always signify both, right? As in Genesis, God said, let us create man, male and female. All right, cool. Within a state, as a community of monks, and it is often used for the public or people in general without very definite limits. So you see how powerful a community is? Because when you have a community, you could create commonwealth. And when you create commonwealth, your country or where your territory will become a commonwealth. All right? Words to pay attention to on this journey. You see, I want to start teaching you things that will create and develop a mental paradigm shift in your mind as to what you need to be focusing on and not get distracted. So you see all these words right there, all what I'm showing you right now, that's what we should be gravitating to. Let's attract that to ourselves. You feel me? Okay. Let us go to the next one. Nation. Nation. Here we are. Nation, a body of people. Oh my goodness. What's a community? A body of people. You see what I'm saying? A body of people. It deals with people, a body, common good. So a nation, a body of people inhabiting the same country or united under the same sovereign or government as the English nation, the French nation. It often happens that many nations are subject to one government, in which case the word nation usually denotes a body of people speaking the same language, or a body that has formerly been under a distinct government but has been conquered or incorporated with a larger nation. Thus, the Empire of Russia comprehends many nations, as did formerly the Roman and the Persian empires. Nation, as its etymology imports, originally denoted a family or goes back to a race again of men descended from a common progenitor. So therefore, we are the progenitors, okay, of our ancestors. We are their posterity. They are our progenitors, pardon me, and we are their progeny. But we are also the posterity of our ancestors. So therefore, we have to nationalize, become a community. With that community, of course, we're going to practice group economics that leads us to commonwealth that help us build our nation. Okay? Keep that in mind. It also says, like tribe, but by immigration, conquest, and intermixture of men of different families, this distinction is in most countries lost. All right. Let us go to the next one. Nationality. Nationality deals with nationals, but we are going to deal with nationality here for a second. All right. Nationality, national character. Okay. Give me 1 second, please. Let me get some water. Yeah, my apologies. I was a little thirsty here. Okay. So nationality, it says, noun, national character. So your nationality deals with your character. You feel me? Again, we are looking at things from a spiritual perspective. Also, the quality of being national or strongly attached to one own nation. My brothers and sisters, again, we do not have, well, let's put it this way. I have a nationality, but the majority of my brothers and sisters do not have a nationality. All right? Because you're not part of a nation. Like I told you in the video earlier, the United States is not a nation. The United States is a corporation posing as a nation. It is not organic. It is de jure. All right? In fact, let me make a note here, and I'll come back to de jure and de facto. I've already broken that down to you before, but we'll go over it again. Okay? Let's go to the next word. The next word is tribe. Tribe. Here we go again. A family, a race. So you see what we're establishing, right? A family, a race, or series of generations descending from the same progenitor and kept distinct, as in the case of the 12 tribes of Israel descended from the 12 sons of Jacob. They give an example of that. Now, like I said before, if that is your nation, that is your people, by all means, hey, I respect it. I'm not here to tell you that you are not who you say you are. If you say you are an Israelite and that's what you are, then that's what you are. My job is not to tell you that. My job is not to refute that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. The only time I step in is when you start telling me we American Aborigines are Israelites. That's when I start stepping in to shut down the nonsense. But you could be anything that you want to be. You feel me? That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Because you see, you have to come to the realization that the letter J did not come into existence until, the 16th, 1700s, right? I think the 15th or the 16th century around there. There was no letter J. It was Y. So who was Yakub? So y'all better stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with me. I'm not the one. All right. But anyway, we're not going to even talk about that right now. So you see how a tribe is a family, a race, a series of generations. Okay. So we are literally tribing up right now. That's the purpose. We are clanning up. Okay. We are nationalizing. We are creating a community. That's what we are doing. Words to keep in mind and know on this journey moving forward. All right. The next one is autonomy. I think I spelled that correctly. Yes, I did. Autonomy. It means self and law. You see what that means? Self and law rule, period. You see where we're heading? That is the direction that our ancestors are guiding me to lead our people to autonomy. Be autonomous. You see what it says? Self. which goes back to state, estate. And I broke that down. First, you have to deal with self. You have to master self before you're able to be part of anything. Like I tell people, what we have here is not, we're not peddling paperwork, and we're not peddling IDs. You feel me? I was never about that, and I will never be about that. We are building something solid. Because I'm letting y'all know, I'm not going to do it again. That's why I'm giving you everything that I have. And it's solid. But y'all play around and y'all mess this up. I'm not doing this again. I'm asking my ancestors to give that responsibility to somebody else. I don't want it no more. Okay? I made an attempt to do it in 2017. Some bad energies came into the nation, and I had to excommunicate so many people because of jealousy and envy. I'm not going through that again. I just want y'all to know this. So this time we better make it happen, because I'm all in. We got to be on the same page. We got to have respect for each other. We got to love each other. We got to honor each other. We got to be each other's brothers keepers and sisters keepers. If that's not what you're about, please do not be a part of what we're doing. Go create your own. Okay? So autonomy, self, law. It did not say legal. It said law. You see, because legal is not law and law is not legal. However, legal is of law. In other words, they took certain aspects of law and created a legal society. So therefore, their codes, their ordinances, their whatever you call it, they're not laws. Only the organic people of the land could create laws, because they are the lawful inheritors. Okay? It says, this word is rarely used. It signifies the power, you hear that, power or right of self-government. And what does it say in House Resolution 331? It says that the United States has an obligation to deal with the Indians from a government to government basis. So therefore, we have every right and the power to self-govern ourselves without the United States telling us what to do. Okay? Whether in a city which elects its own magistrates and makes its own laws, or in an individual who lives according to his own will. And that's what I'm teaching, because you already have the will. Remember, in Genesis chapter 1, we had will. There was no such thing as free will. Free will is a choice. We lived according to law. However, a Lord God came over and took over, and hence introduced the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. That's when free will came in. But before Genesis chapter 2, there was no damn free will. Okay? It was just will. We will everything, and it was all good. And we lived in abundance, and we had dominion. That's where I'm taking my people back into restoration. Okay? Autonomy. All right. Which is a same derivative of autonomous. All right. Let us go to the next. We are going to get into that right now. Autonomous. Give me 1 second here. Oh, come on, man. So I got you. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Autonomous. What does it say? Autonomous. Independent in government. Having the right of what? Self-government. Okay? Let's go to the next. Sovereign. Here we go. Sovereign. I think I spelled it incorrectly. Sovererein. Okay, here we go. Sovereign. Sovereign. It says, we retain this barbarous orthography from the Norman sovereign. The true spelling would be sovereign, from the Latin superus, but it says one, supreme in power, possessing supreme dominion as a sovereign ruler of the universe. That's who we are, my brothers and sisters. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. When we manifested here in the flesh, what did we say? We are going to give ourselves dominion over everything. You see what that means, sovereign? We are not sovereign citizens. Okay, we are sovereign to the not the United States, to the American continent. Okay? No United States citizen could be a sovereign of this land. Period. The only true sovereign on this land is the autochthonous people, meaning that the people who were sprung from this land. Okay? Supreme in power, possessing dominion as a supreme ruler of the universe. When you're able to rule and master, govern what's within you, then as a collective, we master what's in the universe. Supreme, superior in all others, chief. God is the supreme good of all who love and obey him. Well, they say him. We're not even going to play the semantics with him and her. I've already broken that down, so we don't have to get into that. But we are the gods. Okay? So that's what sovereign means. Words to keep in mind as you're making that paradigm shift. Okay? Next, sovereignty, which is pretty much almost the same thing. Sovereignty, give me 1 second. Whoa, it says, okay, sovereignty. Why it's sovereignty? Okay, I don't think they have sovereignty in here, but no, I don't think they have it in here. I don't think they have it in this dictionary. So we'll look it up somewhere else. Okay, we'll look it up somewhere else. And the next, what do we have? So let me go somewhere else to look at sovereignty. Give me 1 second. Google, and let us go to sovereignty. Sovereignty, Black's Law Dictionary. Let's look it up. Here we are. Black's Law Dictionary. Sovereignty, definition. The possession of sovereign power, supreme political authority, paramount control of the Constitution and frame of government and its administration, the self-sufficient source of political power from which all specific political powers are derived, the international independence of state combined with the right and power of regulating its internal affairs without foreign dictation. Okay, you see, that's what we have to come together as a community, as a nation, in order so that we don't, again, you see that? Combined with the right and power of regulating internal affairs without foreign dictation. The United States is foreign to this land. We don't need the United States to handle our affairs if we have to be sovereign in our land. You see, this is the type of state of mind. And it doesn't make you a terrorist. That's what they want to label you as. But they could only do that to individuals. But when we come together as a collective, it's not going to happen. They make examples of individual people because everybody want to be on this individual thing. Like I tell people before, I'm not going to be a martyr to anybody. I'm not going to do that. It's either we're going to walk together or I'm not walking at all. Period. Okay? So those are some of the words that, I really, really wanted you to focus on and pay attention in this journey, okay, of restoring yourself, restoring your identity, restoring your status correction. I mean, your status, you know what I'm saying? Restoring your birthright. Those are some of the words that you have to get familiar with, because that's all you should be focusing on. Give me 1 second. Etymology. Let me see if I could find that for you. I'm going to show you myself. If I could find here. Okay. Let me just show you this real quick before I conclude this build. Let me show you the etymology of another word, which is kind of like similar to, in nature, to autonomy or autonomous. But here we go. Here we are. Autochton, one sprung from the soil he inhabits. That is who we are. Literally sprung from the land itself. Okay? We are autochthonous. We are the autochthon of the Americans, the people who were sprung from the land. What also does it say? Aborigines. Okay? Now it says natives, primitive inhabitants. That's when native meant primitive. That's when native meant aborigines. That's when native meant original. But as per the United States today, in this day and age, native does not mean original. All native means is to be born. Okay? That's what it means. But we are autochthonous. We are autochtons of this land. Words to get familiar with in the restoration of our birthright. Now let us go back here, and I did promise to look at de jure, legal definition of de jure. Here we are. What does it say? De jure is the Latin expression for by law or by right. You see what it is? By law or by right. And is used to describe a practice that exists by right or according to law, my brothers and sisters. In contemporary use, the phrase almost always means as a matter of law. You see, that's law. It deals with law. Let's read this again. I want this to sink in. It's by law or by right. You see, righteousness is lawful. Man, listen, man. Righteousness is lawful and law is righteous. The legal system is not righteous because it's not law. We are living under a legal system, and that's why we have to step up as the Aborigines, as the autochthonous people of the land, and restore law, righteousness. Okay? And it's used to describe a practice that exists by right or according to law. In the contemporary use, the phrase almost means as a matter of law. Now let's go look at de facto here for a second. De facto. What does de facto means? De facto means in what? It is a legal term. So you see the difference, my brothers and sisters? One is lawful and one is legal. Hence the legal society. Hence the BAR, the Bar Association. Hence the United States is a society. It's a legal society. The United States is a legal society, and nobody could force us to be a part of their legal society when we are a lawful people. You feel me? So even if you are living by law, because they make things legal, you could be doing something lawful, and in the system, it is still illegal. Hence, traveling. Traveling is lawful, But if you do it in their system, they call it drive, and they call it illegal if you don't have a license. But let us read. It says, de facto is a legal term meaning in fact or in reality. You see what I told you? Reality is not law, because it is not ality. Man, listen, everything that I teach you, there's a madness to it, because it is all coherent. You see, I know the words. I'm a wordsmith because I'm a God. In the beginning was the word. And whenever you speak, you are speaking God. Because in the beginning was the word, and the word became flesh, and the word became God. In other words, God became man, God. Opposed to God, man. God, man came from God, man to man, God. All he did was just shape shift from one realm as a man, which is God, man, into man, God. And when I say man, I'm talking about both male man and female man. Okay? So therefore, legal society is reality. That's why they're able to give you reality TV shows, and it has become your reality because it is part of the world of illusion, the assimilation of the earth. It is not ality. It is not L. It is not al. It's real. It's real. They converted the gods. It says, which is used to qualify many legal concepts, even when the formal legal requirements have not been met. Oh my goodness. You see that? Let us read this again. I want this to sink in and compare that to de jure, of law, of righteousness. De facto is a legal term meaning in fact or in reality. Separate the two words, the prefix re and ality. They took away ality because we are living in a world of reality. Real of the gods, which is used to qualify many legal concepts. You hear that? To qualify many legal concepts, even when the formal requirements, legal requirements, have not been met. In other words, something could not be lawful, but it could be legal. De facto law refers to a legal practice or formality that is not specifically enumerated by law. Law is king. Righteousness is king. Unrighteousness is legal. All right, my brothers and sisters. So I hope you guys, you found some value in this video. All right. Once again, man, I just want to open up your mind to certain things, because the journey that we are on right now, it is a very spiritual one. And you have to be mindful with these words, these terms, and we have to step up. I think we need to, we have to. It's mandatory. Okay, it's imperative that we step up as a unit, as a community, as a clan, as a tribe, as a nation, and challenge this legal, this reality, this de jure, not this de jure, this de facto system. And now we have to reintroduce. You see that prefix reintroduced. In other words, something that was, or that already was. We have to restore and bring back law and righteousness. And so we could have a de jure society that deals with law and not a legal system, which is unrighteous. Why do you think so many of our young brothers and sisters are in jail? I mean, of course, people do things to harm people. Yes, if you harm somebody, you have broken the law. You committed a crime. And the only time you have committed a crime is when you have harmed somebody, damaged somebody's property, or you have defrauded someone. Everything else is not a crime. They are just minor infractions. They are illegal, but they are not unlawful. And we have every right to step up and create our own, even have our own tribunals, even have our own Supreme Court. You see, y'all don't comprehend what type of mentality and level that I'm on. A lot of you don't. And y'all think this is a game. It's not a game, man. I keep telling y'all I was sent for this. And it's going to manifest. But I can't do it alone. I refuse to do it alone. Okay? Even Noah had help building the ark in the allegorical story, because that story came from Atrazes, from the Sumerian text, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's not original for as per the Bible. So if Noah is not original, well, I'm just saying, if Noah is not original, how could there be a Jacob? How could there be a Shem and a Ham and all these things are allegories? Okay, they were not real people. But my question is, did you get the message? You're too focused on the personages that were created and not the message. All right? So we got work to do. And like I said, we're building our house on solid ground. This is not a game. This is our birthright we are talking about here. And anyone who plays with that, trust me, man, you're going to be condemned. You're going to perish. You're going to literally be eaten from the inside out. Anybody. And I'm letting anybody know right now, anybody who come up against me and make an attempt to hurt me intentionally, you're going to see yourself deteriorate from the inside out. I promise you that, because I keep telling y'all, you don't know who I am. And y'all going to learn who this man is that's talking with this voice here. And how could he talk so confident? Be righteous when y'all step in the realm of what we are doing. Because like we said before, and like I've said before, I ain't got to touch you physically. All right? So know that. Everybody else could talk about what they want. Everybody else could hate as much as they want. Everybody else could do what they feel they have to do. My mission is different from theirs. My mission is the narrow path. Their mission may be the broad path. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it may be. I don't know. I can't tell you what anybody else is doing. I can't tell you anybody else's motive. I can't tell you what their purpose is. I know what mine is. Mine is the narrow path. Mine is the lawful path. Mine is the righteous path. Well, Chief, are you insinuating that theirs aren't? I don't know. I don't know these people. Okay? I don't know these people, but I could only judge people based on their actions. And everybody has a calling. Everybody has a purpose, but not everybody's chosen. It is really that simple. And there's no need to hate or have animosity. No. This is for the collective. This is for the collective. This is not about me. I keep telling y'all, I could just get up any day I want to and go anywhere in South America, anywhere in North America and live. I could do that. Anywhere. In fact, anywhere in the world. I could do that. In fact, I'm traveling tomorrow. I'm going to Dominica, but first I'm going to Guadeloupe. I could be anywhere, but I choose to be here with you. You feel me? I don't have to go through all the stress people want to put me through. I don't have to do that. But my ancestors knew, and they know that I have the tenacity. They know that I have the backbone. They know that I have the strength and the wisdom to make this thing happen. In 2012 and 2013, I had people coming to me that don't even know me, sending me messages. Yo, Chief, I saw your video and my grandmother heard your voice and she told me who you was. In 2013, 2014, I had a dream and a vision of me talking to the Pope about my people. Y'all have no idea, huh? Now, don't get me wrong. We are all powerful. You just have to know your true power. You have to get in touch with yourself. The only way to know what a lot of people are looking to trace their lineage. You see, yes, that's cool. Tracing your physical lineage through your ancestry or your genealogy is fine. But what's more important than that? What's more important than that is your spiritual lineage. Have you traced your spiritual genealogy? Because you have to know if you came from the righteous seed or the unrighteous seed. And how do you know? You shall know a tree by its fruits. If you are evil, if you are vindictive, if you are you jealous of people, if you have animosity, if you have those type of characteristics, you are not of the righteous seed, period. You don't have to look any further. I could see right through you and know exactly where you came from, your origin. It has nothing to do with the flesh. The flesh is the illusion. Y'all could fool people with the flesh, but y'all can't fool me. I could see you in the spirit. And a lot of times people send me inboxes. Hey, Chief, how do I get this? How do I say, you know what? Give me your number. Let me call you. I want to hear your voice. Some of them, they just ignore it. They don't, they think, well, why do he want to talk to me? Then why did you send me an inbox? You see, I'm a man of vibration and frequency. You could put anything on paper. You could type any damn thing. I want to hear your voice. I want to feel your vibration. I want to pull my pendulum out and test your energy. Because a lot of you are snakes in disguise. You say one thing with your mouth, but your heart says something different. You see, this time around, trust me, I'm scrutinizing everybody. We're looking for the ones that were in reality. We're not creating no type of reality this time around. No, we are going back to Mother Earth, and we're going to get rid of this earth, of not the earth of this world. Period. We are not of this world. We are of the earth. There's a difference. There is a difference. You dig? So this is not a joke. It's not a game, man. This is serious business. I'm tired of seeing our children suffering. Our children are in the streets. They lost. We can't deal with that. And I have to address everything because I'm just going to keep it 100 like I always do. Somebody asked me, well, Chief, what about, indigenous brothers and sisters who are gay or lesbians or homosexuals? Man, that is your lifestyle. Okay? That is your lifestyle. That is part of the reality as well. That is part of the reality that was created and condoned by the Lord God, but that had nothing to do with ality. Ality was about being fruitful and multiply and having dominion. Now, does it mean you can be part of the nation? That's something for us to talk about as a council. The council will talk about it. All right. And you have to restore yourself. We are not here to bring and promote death to our people. That promotes death. Well, Chief, how do you know? It's very simple. Let's go back into nature. If you take 200 men only and you put them on an island and you isolate them for 500 years with no women, what's going to happen? Everybody's going to die. If you put 200 women on an island by themselves with no interaction with men, they are going to die. So therefore, that is not part of ality. That is part of reality, the illusion. You feel me? So whether the question is, would you be accepted as part of the nation or not, that is something the council will talk about. And if we allow you to be a part of the nation, then you have to restore yourself. We are not going to deal with the nonsense. We are not going to promote that. That is not of the gods of Genesis chapter 1. All that came in after Genesis chapter 2. From the descendants of the Lord God. That's his people. That's their thing. Bestiality, all of that. Our nations were about being fruitful and multiply and having dominion. I'm just keeping it 100, man. Time for all the nonsense to stop. So we don't have to go too far to see what truth is. Now, if you want to live your life, and that's fine, do you. I can't hate you. I don't have hate in me. No, I don't want to do that. I could still call you my brother. I could still call you my sister, but I'm not going to condone that. All right. These are devices and tools of Satan, the devil, the Lord God in the Bible. All right. So a lot of people are going to be afraid of the truth, man, but it is what it is. That's all I know. I can't speak anything different. That's how I'm wired. Okay. So like I tell people, yes, we could trace back our physical, what we call genealogy. Yes, that's all well and good, whether it's whatever tribal affiliation. But the bottom line is, I am more so linking, okay, and putting a nation together of righteous people. You feel me? Of the righteous bloodline. Because that's how you know what tribe you're from. You feel me? Not the physical flesh. It's not going to determine that. No, the flesh is the illusion. What spiritual bloodline did you come from? Did you come from the righteous bloodline, or did you come from the unrighteous bloodline? Well, Chief, how do I know? Go make an assessment of yourself. You know what you do in the open. You know what you do behind closed doors. You know. And when you start reflecting and start thinking, damn, am I from the righteous seed or am I from the unrighteous seed? Am I really a seed of Satan, Lucifer, the Lord God, and Eve? You will know. It's not too, you see, you don't have to go too far to know, because you know exactly what you do. You know your nature. That's how you know. That's how you know. So we cannot be out here playing the games. Now, you cannot fool anybody. You can't even fool yourself, because you know yourself, because God sees everything. Who's God? You. So therefore you see everything. You know everything about you. So whether you are a righteous God or an unrighteous God, you know. You are self-knowing, because you know your characteristics. You know who you are. Anything that I do in the light, I could do in the dark. Anything I do in the dark, I could do in the light. Period. Because I know which seed I came from. And once you know that, man, listen, your life will be so abundant. You will find so much wholesomeness, because you know. And it's okay if you are from the unrighteous seed, because you were supposed to manifest so we could experience the unrighteousness that came, none of that came and manifested here on earth. So yes, you were playing your role. You were a necessary evil. So I don't hate you for that. I appreciate you for sacrificing yourself to come here as being evil. So I know what evil is. Now you see, when you're a God, how you see things from a perspective of a God. So some people were necessary evils. The Lord God was a necessary evil. The serpent was a necessary evil. Lucifer was a necessary evil. Of course, Lucifer is not the serpent. That's what they tell y'all, but that's not true. Satan was a necessary evil. Because without that, we wouldn't know the difference between left and right, or right and wrong, or good or bad. But the purpose had to be fulfilled. We had to start from our most righteous self and devolve to our most unrighteous self. So that was the purpose of manifestation, to experience ourselves in our lowest self. So all of this was inevitable. It had to happen. It had to happen. But by the time the story got to Genesis chapter 2, there had to be a split. There had to be a split in the bloodlines, the good seed and the bad seed. And then those two seeds had to come in the perfect body, which is Noah. Hence, you and I are Noah, because the higher seed and the lower seed is in this physical body. All right, in terms of the body. But we are of the righteous seed. All right. So I hope this makes sense, man. I hope this makes sense. You feel me? Don't forget the link for the book is in the description. You got to get that book. All right. I don't care what Bible anybody writes. I don't care what any other book, the book of Thoth, the book of the Gilgamesh. I don't care what books you read before. You have to read this book. Jen insists to re-evaluation. If thy eye be single, thy whole body be full of light. I'm teaching you about the narrow path. I'm teaching you how to become single with that eye, because I'm literally taking away all the illusions and I'm giving it to you in a way that you could comprehend, breaking down who God is, what God is, who came here in the Americas. All right, it's all in the book. So now this is about nation building. Like I said before, I have made an attempt before, but this is the last time I'm doing this. I'm not going to do it again. This is it. And not as in Michael Jackson. This is it. I ain't going nowhere right now. You feel me? But I'm just saying that this is something that we're building solid. And if you choose to be a part of it, you have to be righteous. Like Spike Lee said, be willing to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Okay? Because we are so powerful, we have to know this. We could literally talk and destroy people when we are in our true essence. And we could talk and heal people when we are in our true essence. Okay? So first, you have to heal yourself. Make sure that your estate is in order. All right? Your state of mind. That's what when I say estate, I'm talking about your state of mind. Make sure your state of mind is in order before you bring it to the collective, before the united state of mind. Okay, you see how it is? You heard what I just said, right? Make sure your state of mind is in order. You feel me? All right? Before you make an attempt to join the United States of mind. Because that's what we are building right now, a United States of mind, of righteous minds. Not the illusion that they gave us. Not the de facto system and government they gave us. We're building something lawful, something righteous. That's what we're building. And I promise you, it will overcome, because it already did. It's just waiting to manifest. It's already done. All right. So y'all enjoy the rest of your continuation. Enjoy the rest of your 24. Wish you a happy sunrest. And we will be talking soon. So like I said, when you reach out to me, whether it's via Facebook or whether it's if you're on YouTube and you don't have my Facebook, I'm pretty much at the capacity in friends on Facebook, literally about 5,000. So you may have to send me an email. All right. The email is Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle, or you could send it to myniji@gmail.com, or you could send it to anionwiaunited@gmail.com. So either way, you could get in touch with me. So let's make this thing happen. All right. And, we have a saying in the islands, one full basket. What does that mean? It doesn't matter how small we start, but one will fill the basket. So we say one full basket. All right. So yes, we are a small nation, but we are going to build. Every nation on earth started as a small one. Okay. Until it became what it was. But I promise you, ours is going to be a force to be reckoned with, because the time is ripe. All right. We'll talk soon. Take care. I love y'all.